Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to, I have to admit, I've been putting the little patter together because I've been loving this whole idea of the free for all AMA call with Ryan. I feel like we need the big booming voice like we had at Accelerator. I don't have that booming voice, so I'm not going to do that whole, I hear it's a WWE thing, so I don't have that. But welcome to the free for all AMA call with Ryan. We are super excited, and I'm thrilled to see so many people here and so many people still walking through the virtual door. So welcome, welcome. We'll make sure that we are recording and that we have the Facebook chat is in Zoom already. Ryan is here, just ready to go, it looks like, but we're not quite ready for him just yet. So I want to say a big hello. I see so many of you still coming through the door and some dinging that's happening somewhere. And so just want to say hello, everyone who has your video on, please just give a wave to Ryan. I know that he's been rushing around to get to all the places he needs to be today and making sure he is where we need him to be. So give him a big hello. If you don't have your video on, just click it on for a sec and give him a big hello anyway. Let's make sure you're over in the chat on Facebook and let us know that you are there. And I would love to just start out with a couple of wins today. I've been watching the wins go by in the channel. I would love for you to post some wins so Ryan can be seeing them. I know he sees them in the channel, and we of course celebrate you over in our own channels as well. I want you to know. See, there he is. He's watching this go down. So put in some of your wins there that you have been celebrating even this month. There's so much going on. And while you're doing that, I'm going to give you just half a second to do that. And I picked out a couple that I've seen go by and just want to mention them as we go. So please be typing. I'm watching a couple of you already typing, so please type your wins in. I see here we have Ayelet. This was from a couple of weeks ago, but I think it's just such a great one. She says, win again, which we love. We love the wins when they're a win again. So, I mean, I feel crazy. I literally have been using my DDS bullets every day since the Accelerator, in every post, in every email, and boy, have I seen a difference in engagement. The kinds of posts I've been making are the same, introducing my podcast episodes, sharing quotes or inspiration or insights, etc. But the words are now not from my own mind, but from their mouths. It's ridiculous, it's miraculous, magical, so darn simple. I love it. I love it. Anything, Ryan, that seems to me like just a perfect place for you to just jump in. Anything you'd like to say about that particular win after the wonderfulness of Accelerator?
No, I mean, listen, I love that. I love hearing that. Like, you don't understand. Like, when I hear your wins, it fires me up in a huge way. Even when those wins are like seemingly small wins, like you might think that they're not like a big deal. Like, they are a big deal. I'm smiling ear to ear right now. Just looking at some of the wins that are coming through right now. Love Carrie's win, completed the masterclass and the assessment. That's awesome. Beryl, just recommitting to your business in a huge way, doing those leans and really digging into what's the truth that's there. I love it. Catherine just recommitting in a huge way. For those of you here who are catching this call at work, I see Michael here stuck at work right now. That's just a win, just being here. So listen, I'm super excited to be here. So CT, if we're good to go, I'm ready to dive into questions. I know there's some questions that are bubbling here, and I thought we could just dive right in and get right to it. How do we?
I love diving right in. I love diving right in. You just take it and run.
Awesome. Well, listen, guys, I'm super excited to be here. As you know, we are in the middle of our Ask Method Masterclass launch this week, which is our biggest week of the year as far as the Ask Method Masterclass is concerned. And it's one of those days, I'm not going to lie, where on my way to the office here, I had to grab 3 of my children's applesauce pouches just to get a little sustenance in me, because I've just been on back-to-back things all this morning. So if you've ever had a day like that where you're like reaching for applesauce pouches and that's your lunch, I can completely relate, because it's one of those days for me. So I'm gonna just make sure my sugar doesn't get too low at any time during this call, but if you do see me reach for the applesauce, you know what is going on. So listen, today's call, I shared it in the Facebook thread. I said, CT, this is our last kind of week before we move over into our themed monthly trainings, where we've got like a dedicated theme happening every single month that gives us that focus on that one thing, and just allows us to really, turn away all the shiny objects and focus on one thing that's gonna move your business forward in a huge way. And this is kind of the last call in that old format, which is sort of like a little bit more loose and open-ended. So with that in mind, we said, okay, what would be the best thing that we could do? Well, how about one last free-for-all AMA call where any topic, no topic is forbidden, any topic is up for grabs, and we got a bunch of questions. And so what I thought we would do is just dive into those questions, kind of answer them one by one. Sometimes you hear a question from someone else and it sparks a question in your own mind. So for those of you who are here live, if we've got time, and I believe we might, any extra time that we have after getting through the pre-submitted questions, I want to give you an opportunity to ask your questions, and we'll cover as many of them as we can live. So as you got a question that pops up, maybe from the conversation, just kind of jot it down in your notes, and we'll put a call out to questions, and I'll invite you to post it, not just yet, post it inside the thread that we've got going on here in the Facebook group. Does that sound good? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a 2 thumbs up? Awesome. Sweet. All right, so with that being said, let's dive in. I've got the questions in front of me, I've got the chat over here, and we're gonna kind of have some fun with this and just kind of get to it. So Elaine, first question that came through. Elaine says, my only question in the last part of my funnel to finish is, how do we set up custom audiences in Facebook for segmentation funnel pixel custom audiences? Elaine, for a question like that, I'm gonna recommend 2 things. Number 1, head on over to help.bucket.io. Help.bucket.io is going to take you to, I don't have my screen pulled up, but that's okay. It's going to take you to the Bucket knowledge base. And if you just type in pixel segmentation, you'll see that there's a help article on Facebook Pixel end-to-end integration and segmentation setup. That's gonna walk you through the whole process. And if for some reason you get stuck, thanks Gary for putting the link on the screen. Awesome, I love that, like fast move right there. Look at, give it up for Gary. Listen, if you get stuck along the way, just reach out to Bucket. Support@bucket.io is the email address. And one of the Bucket experts from the Bucket team, they'll just get on the phone with you. Just let them know that you're part of our coaching program. That immediately makes you a VIP. And so they'll just rush you to the front of the line, and they'll even get on the phone with you and help you get it set up if you get stuck. So that support document at help.bucket.io is your fastest way, because that you can dive into that like 5 minutes from now. And if you get stuck along the way, the Bucket team will be more than happy to help you out. Great question. Cool. Next question is from Anna. Question, Anna says, listen, Ryan, my son and I help moms who want to teach their kids Chinese. We keep moving forward with the Ask Method, and we're really excited that we've been able to help moms who received our free coloring book so far, but we get zero encouragement from the people around us. People around us seem resentful that we spend so much time on this, even though they know it's important to us. It's like they've been brainwashed. The only thing that counts in life is having a regular job. I believe if we got more encouragement, we'd feel more confident and move a lot faster. Family members ask us what we do, and we tell them, they say, oh, next week we're going to a family funeral, and I know even more people are going to be asking us what we do, and we have to try to ignore their disappointment. It's getting really hard to keep going. I'm sure this is a common thing for people who are trying to learn to be an entrepreneur, but what can we do? I'm really looking forward to your answer in hopes that it'll help us have a better experience when we meet the family members next week. So, show of hands, guys. Raise your hand if you've ever felt like you've been in that situation, where you felt like the people around you just don't get what it is that you do. Raise your hand. Here's what I've learned. Here's what I've learned along the way, is that the only people who will criticize you in life are the people who have not done the thing you're trying to do. Remember that. I'll repeat it, right? This is for you, Anna. Remember that the only people who will criticize you for what you're doing are the people who have not yet done what you're trying to do. Just remember that always. Remember where that feedback and that criticism is coming from. And sometimes it's hard because it comes from the people who love us and care about us the most. I've told this story before, but it's worth repeating. I remember when I first came into business, when I first started, our first business, the tiny little Scrabble tile jewelry business, right? The first real thing that we ever made any money with. And you gotta remember where I was coming from is I'd had a high-paying, 6-figure corporate job. I was on a fast track to success. And I quit my job, gave it all up to teach people how to make Scrabble tile jewelry. Now, all my friends thought I was crazy. They didn't understand what I was doing. In fact, I kept this as a secret from a lot of people because, frankly, I was a little bit embarrassed. Like, I didn't want to tell all my friends, like my friends that I went to college with, many of whom, were lawyers, investment bankers. A few of them have gone on to become college professors. Friends of mine who were doctors. Friends of mine who are in management consulting, and they're all working for companies like Goldman Sachs and McKinsey, and going to schools like Harvard Business School and Harvard Law and Columbia Law. And here I am, I'm teaching people how to make Scrabble tile jewelry. Now, when I tried to explain to my parents what it is that I did, they thought that like I was having some sort of mental breakdown. They were actually worried for me. They didn't understand why I was doing what I was doing. And I remember when Tylene and I moved back to the States, and we were having a conversation with them. This is like when we first moved back, and we first started having success in our second market, the orchid market. She had applied for a job at an auction house in Dallas. So it's the biggest auction house in Dallas, and we're meeting with the owners of the auction house. So like they're a pretty big deal. They're pretty big deal in the Dallas socialite scene, which is not like my scene at all, but they're like a pretty big deal. And I had to play the role of this is Tylene's opportunity to shine, and I had to play this role of not only being the supportive husband, but also wanting to impress them that that we had it together, And I remember having the conversation with the guy who's like owns this auction house, and what do you do? We sell ebooks teaching people how to care for orchids online. You can make money doing that? And I remember it was just sort of like I could see it in his body language and his eyes, like his whole perception changed. It was like who am I talking to? Why am I wasting your time with you? I remember having a neighborhood barbecue party at the first place that house that we bought. Here just outside of Austin. And I remember being in the driveway of a neighbor's house, and we're all kind of sitting there, and they all have like normal jobs, right? A lot of them are ex-military, a couple school teachers, a few people still in the military at Fort Hood. A few people working for Dell Computers. It's like headquartered just outside of the suburb that we live in. So a lot of people work for Dell. It's their worldwide headquarters. So jobs like that, regular jobs that it's, what do you do for a living? Oh, I work for Dell. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a teacher. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm in active duty. And, it's like it's very easy to have those conversations. Well, what do you do? And it was at this time where we were trying to explain to people like what it is that we did. And, the way we explained it to people was like, well, we teach people. We have a business like the Dummies Guide. The Dummies Guides? Like we teach people how to do these things in these different kind of niche markets. And I think at the time we were in the orchid business, we were in the memory business. We obviously had the Scrabble business. We may have had one or two more. And I just remember people looking at us like, you can make money doing that? And the reality is this, the people around us, even though they love us and care for us, if they haven't walked in the shoes that you are attempting to walk in, if they haven't walked that path, if they haven't climbed the mountain that you're looking to climb, they're just not going to get it. And it took me a while to understand that, to appreciate that, to get that, and to I held it against my family for a long time. I felt like why can't they just be happy? But then I realized that was really unfair, right? So my family, they haven't done the reading that I've done. They haven't taken the courses that I've taken. They haven't walked the miles that I've walked. They haven't been inside the rooms that I've been in. And to expect them to understand what you and I, what we know, what we know about the world, they just don't even know that this world exists. And it's not uncommon for them to not believe it, to not believe that it's even possible. And I get it. For me, I remember coming into this world. It wasn't until I think I generated my first sale where I had this moment where it was like, this actually works. This whole thing, it works. It's real. People actually paid us money. It was actually a real thing. So keep that in mind. And so don't be too hard on your family. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on your loved ones. Just recognize that they haven't watched the movie that you've watched. They haven't played the game that you've played. They don't even know that it exists. So, if you've ever tried to explain a movie to someone that you've seen that's just maybe brought you to tears or created a huge emotional response in yourself, and you try to explain that same movie to someone, and you can just see in their eyes that they're just not quite getting it, they're not understanding it. Well, remember, they haven't experienced that movie with you. They haven't been on the ride with you. They haven't been in the rooms with you. They haven't read what you've read. They haven't experienced what you've experienced. And just accept that. Just know that. And I think the sooner you can accept that's just a fact of life in general. The fact for me that helped me overcome a lot of those feelings of struggle. And even to this day, I mean, with our business, my parents have come to Ask Live. Many of you have met my parents. They've come to the back of the room, and they just don't quite get it. Like they don't understand, that it's a thing. My parents have the same paradigm that your family has. My dad has been in a union job, loading boxes on the back of a truck for his entire career. That's what he's done for the last 45 years. That's what he's done. That's the only thing he knows is, get a job, work overtime, put extra hours in, at the end of the road, retire, and that's it. Like that's the paradigm that they know. And so I can empathize with what you're going through. I feel your pain in a big way, because for me, I know how painful this was. And I want to let you know that I, for one, commend you for the road that you're walking on right now, because I know how difficult it is. So keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just remember, the only people who criticize you in life are the people who haven't accomplished what you are trying to actually get done. All right, next up, we've got a question from William. William says, I'm consistently impressed by the clarity and effectiveness of your live Q&A responses, both live events and virtually. Your answers stand way head and shoulders above what the most answers I hear or tend to hear at live events. And how do you do this? Do you have a certain formula that you follow through in your head when listening and answering? And what do you suggest for us to fast track our growth in this area? Also, yes, I realize this may come off as brown-nosing, but I mean it. Listen, I believe this is a key skill that I'm eager to model and develop for myself. I've been asking myself and others about this since the first hearing you at the live Q&A at the VIP launch at Ask Live last year. So William, first and foremost, I appreciate the kind words. And let me respond in a way that I think will be most helpful for all of us. So a couple things. Number one, you'll notice that whenever I'm in a live Q&A environment, it's very much controlled and steered in a very specific direction. There are very few topics in this world that I can speak about really using the knowledge in my head and able to respond in a way that is clear, complete, concise, and very actionable and helpful. If you ask me questions about most things in this world, I would be struggling to provide a coherent response. That's the reality of it. So it just goes to, it's another vote in the direction of, with your business, you want to ask yourself, what's your inch wide, mile deep topic that you can serve people around in a huge and very deep way? So for us, we're constantly asking ourselves, what are the boundaries around which we define our business? So I use this metaphor at the accelerator. You may remember, I say, if what we do in our business is Texas, where are those borders? Meaning if what we do, if our expertise as a company falls within the state of Texas, if that's metaphorically speaking, what is on the border? What is Oklahoma? What is Louisiana? What is Mexico? What is around us that falls outside our borders? And being very conscious to steer the conversation in the direction of Texas and Texas only. In other words, if we were to do a live Q&A about Kansas, well, Kansas is far outside my expertise. I can't answer questions about that in a way that is going to be really helpful. So you want to find ways that you can engineer that in your business. Ask yourself, what is the topic that if someone asked you 50 questions right now, like if you and I were to have a conversation and you were to say, Ryan, you can ask me anything about this topic, and I feel like for the next hour, I could just answer, what would that topic be? So that kind of gives you the start. It gives you the first half of the equation, which is define what that Texas is for you and your business, and engineer those circumstances so that people are asking you questions about things that are setting you up for success. So that's the first thing. Second half of the equation is as follows. So I wasn't always able to answer questions without ums and ahs, without thinking about things, without really being able to give fast, helpful responses. And I do think this is a skill that most people, not everybody, but most people can get better at. And for me, it came down to years and years of practice, but practice in a way that you might not expect. For me, the practice came from the years that I spent on the phone 6 hours a day, 5 days a week, on the phone, offering marketing and business advice to my clients and my partners in my consulting practice, where I was implementing the ask method for other businesses. You see, when you're in that mode, when you're constantly in a situation where you need to perform, you're only as good as your latest magic trick, meaning that every single week the clock resets, you're back at ground zero. It's sort of like playing any sports game. You might win the previous game 56-0, but the next time you step on the field, the score is 0-0. And those 56 points that you've accumulated in that last game mean absolutely nothing. So you've got to win that game again. When you're in that environment, it forces you to bring your A game week after week after week until you start developing these unconscious language patterns that allow you to respond in a way that is very eloquent, concise in a short amount of time. You're getting practice. You're able to refine your language.
Go take care of our fishies, okay?
Like most things in life, heard a little bit of audio come through there. That was cool. Like most things in life, it comes down to practice, and it comes down to the right practice, the right form of deliberate practice. And so for me, that was getting on the phone with people in my niche, advising them, offering them advice. And what you find, Will, is that you get the same questions over and over again. So a lot of times, the questions that I am asked at a live event or in this environment are variations on questions that I've heard asked before. So it's not like there are an unlimited number of questions that you need to become good at answering. You start to find that there's this core set of questions that you're pulling from in your mental database of answers, and you pull from all the reading that you do. I mean, I read a lot, right? So you pull from the reading that you've done in your area of expertise. You pull from those one-on-one experiences you've had with clients and students of yours that you know a light bulb has clicked in people's minds when you've responded in a specific way. So you're pulling from all those experiences, and every time you're getting a little bit better. So narrow your area of expertise, define what that is. What is Texas for you? And more importantly, what is Oklahoma? Because it's easy to say Texas is this, but where is it not what you focus on? And engineer scenarios where you're only answering questions around what's in your form of Texas. And then secondly, practice. And the way you can get that deliberate practice is to spend time one-on-one working with clients in the niche that you've chosen to develop your expertise. So if it's English for Portuguese speakers, if that's your thing, then just get so good at that you become world-class in answering questions on topics related to that niche. All right, moving on. Colin says, hey Ryan, the last Q&A, thank you for answering my question. You mentioned teaching math is problem aware and Singapore math is solution aware. You said that I should use teaching Singapore math. The problem that we're running into is most parents of the children my wife tutors know about Singapore math, but they don't know the methodology behind Singapore math. And so less than 10% of her clientele understand and know the Singapore methods. And so hence the challenge in teaching Singapore math appears to be that there's roughly only one answer that keeps coming up in the deep dive survey, which is, I don't know Singapore math well enough. Should we still ask them that phrase just to get their language? My wife and I think that if we broaden the question to teaching math, people might have more say and we'll be able to identify specific challenges. Any further thoughts? Great. So one of the ways that you can address this, if you're trying to narrow your focus in your niche and you're trying to figure out what's your bullseye keyword, and you find that there's a segment of your market that is solution aware, but they don't know what they don't know, right? Where they don't even know what questions to ask. They don't even know what the real challenge is. They just know the question that comes up is, I don't know what my first step should be, or I don't know how to implement Singapore math, or I don't know where to even begin. And it's sort of like, well, that's not that helpful because it doesn't necessarily give you the language and the buckets to address. Although that could be one bucket, right? I don't even know where to begin. That could be a catch-all bucket that you could use. One of the things that you can do, especially if you're doing a lean approach, is, Colin, between you and your wife, is if you first begin with that Singapore math question. So when it comes to using Singapore math, what's your biggest challenge? And if they say, I don't know Singapore math at all, you can then probe deeper, right? And this is the beauty of the leans. This is why leans are so powerful. The beauty of the lean is you can probe deeper and say, well, tell me, what is it that drew you to Singapore math in the first place? And they'll tell you a little bit of that story. Oh, I heard a friend of mine who's using it, or I read something in the news, or what do you know about Singapore math? As far as why Singapore math, what are the challenges you're looking to solve when it comes to teaching math to your children that's drawn you to Singapore math, right? So you can start with your thing that's that really narrow focus, which is our ideal place that we want to be. People who are solution aware about Singapore math, and they're just looking for the right person to help them teach it to their children. So that's our kind of starting point. That's our bullseye. But if we need to broaden our reach a little bit and go to that next circle out in the archery target, that's okay. I like to start at the narrow focus place because it keeps us laser focused on who our ideal prospect, our ideal target market is. And if we need to scale a little bit further, that's fine. So it's not, it's roughly in line with what you heard from Robert and Heba in the office hours. You want to get those leans done. I totally get it. This is just sort of a reversal. So if you start with Singapore math and then expand it into teaching math, then number one, the people who are solution aware and are aware of their questions around Singapore math, you're getting those people, which are your ideal people, frankly. And for those who aren't aware of their challenges, you've now got a second question, a second bite of the apple, as we like to say, to approach and address them in that next round of questioning. Beryl says, great way to think of the question, Nikolai. I think Nikolai had a great comment around if this is the last question you'd ask me. And by the way, this is not, I don't want to mislead you and say this is the last question you're ever going to be able to ask me ever. Just in this kind of open-ended format, at least for the foreseeable future, as we kind of dive into our theme specific, our monthly specific themes that'll be much more focused around, something very, very, very topical as opposed to kind of like anything under the sun. One thing that's come up abundantly clear is that people I'm most meant to serve want to personally feel seen, heard, and supported. That's 100% universal. I think is a universal human need and something that we probably all see in all of our markets. And it's one of the reasons why the ask method is so universal and works in every single market, is because people, as the adage goes, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. They want to feel seen, they want to feel heard, they want to feel understood. And you have the ability to demonstrate your empathy by echoing back the challenges that they're having in their life better than they can even articulate it themselves. With that said, I've gone back to high-touch one-on-one activities that I know have worked in the past. Consults, chats, interviews, and I enjoy them. Deep, meaningful conversation is important to me, but it takes time. So how do you continue to provide that high-touch, relatable, personalized support and scale a company? I'm humbled and honored to have the people who tell me in private chats and conversations that I inspire them and they love to speak. They love how I speak authentically and vulnerably, but when I try to translate that to a larger scale, it doesn't seem to move the needle financially. I question if it's copy, visibility, strategy, audience, or something else that I just haven't thought of. So here's the thing. Whenever you're trying to provide a transformation, whenever you're trying to move someone into action, to motivate them, to sell them into one of your programs or enroll them in one of your programs, there is no better medium to do so than to do it on a personalized one-on-one basis. Generally speaking, most of us here are going to have the highest conversion rates when we sell to people one-on-one, so a one-on-one phone conversation, face-to-face, sitting down in person, and we're going to have the highest success rates when we work with people on a one-on-one basis. So for me, my sales conversion rate, if you will, talking with people one-on-one over the phone is higher than when I'm standing in front of a room of people doing it in person, which is higher than when I'm doing it on a live webinar, which is higher than when I do it on a recorded webinar, which is higher than when I do it on a recorded video, which is higher than when I typically do it in a non-video, non-interactive format at all. So you can see that each of those examples that I gave, from a live one-on-one sales interaction all the way through to, let's call it an text-based email that's serving and reaching hundreds of thousands of people, my conversion rate is much, much higher on the one-on-one than it is with the leveraged interaction. Success rate, the same thing. I mean, gosh, if you had, if you said, Ryan, I want to pay you $1 million and I want you to mentor me personally for a year. I want to come into your office every single day and I want to learn from you and I want to build my business under your advice, under your tutelage. Every time I have a question, I want to be in the office next to you where I can just ask you something, where I can get your feedback. Well, candidly, we're probably going to have more success in that environment than if you're buying my book, ask, right? If you buy this book. That's just the reality of it. So it's not a situation that is unique to your niche, Beryl. It's not a situation that I even think is a deficiency in you or anything necessarily that you're doing. It's a path that I see myself. It's a path that you'd expect to see irrespective of your market. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. So now it's really just a matter of making the math problem work out, right? So if you have let's say a 90% conversion rate, working with people one-on-one, and you can serve 5 of those people a day, what does your conversion rate need to be to equal that in a leveraged way where maybe you want to serve 500 people a day, right? So if we multiply that by 100 and the number of people we need to interact with, you start to do the math to see, okay, where do you need to be to equal out? And generally speaking, you can serve a larger number of people in a smaller way, in a more leveraged business model, at a lower price point and a lower conversion rate than you can serve a smaller number of people in a bigger way at a higher conversion rate in a non-leveraged model. And it's not to say that you need to do one or the other. Like you'll notice in our business, I, even at the size of our business, still make time to interact with and work with our clients and customers, obviously on a select basis. Myself personally, even though we've got a big company with lots of employees and a lot of things going on, because I think it's important to always have that interaction. Theo, my trainer, his business is exploding. He's starting to build multiple locations of for his gym, and he still makes it a point to train himself a few clients every single week because he wants to keep his pulse on what's going on. So it's not to say that you can only do one or the other. You can find room for both. And the key is always asking yourself, how can you approximate the same experience that you have with someone when you work with them one-on-one when you're interacting with people in a more leveraged way? So when you're shooting your videos, are you talking to one person? And one specific person, not just one generic person, but one specific person. In the same way that, Beryl, I can see you. I can see your purple hair. I can see it in the camera. I can see your glasses. I can see you smiling right now, even though I can't see your camera. I can see you smiling right now. I can see who I'm talking to. And if you keep that intention of the specific person that you are interacting with, that you're speaking with, that represents the larger market as a whole that you're trying to reach, it keeps your communication personal. It keeps it one-to-one. And I would constantly be asking myself, how can I approximate that one-on-one experience and do it in such a way that whether someone's watching one of my videos, whether someone's reading one of my emails, whether someone's seeing one of my posts on Facebook, it's as if they're having that same one-on-one, personal, authentic experience that's drawn people to you in such a huge way. And just know that if your conversion rates are lower, that's to be expected. It's just a math problem at that point, right? Just a math problem about making the numbers work out, knowing that your sales conversion rate is going to be lower, your customer success rate is probably going to be a little bit lower. So where does the math work out? What's the right price point? What's the right conversion rate you need to make work? And aim for that. So I don't know that there's a panacea or a silver bullet that's gonna solve this exact question. I think the most important thing that I can say here is just to it's almost a reset in your mindset and expectations around what's reasonable to expect. And then knowing that, not beating yourself up and being so hard on yourself, expecting yourself to, have the same success rates and close rates that you have when you're talking with someone one-on-one as when you do a Facebook Live or a webinar or a launch or a video. And all that's to say that there is absolutely nothing wrong with going back to more one-on-one. Like it's not a linear path in our businesses where we go from I'm doing one-on-one work, I'm doing unleveraged one-on-one high touch work, and then I move to leveraged work, and it's just like this, transition. More often is a bit of a seesaw, a little bit back and forth. Okay, so we'll do a little bit more leveraged work, and that allows us to invest in some of the unleveraged work, and that allows us to invest in the more leveraged part of the business and try a few things and experiment. That's not quite right. And then we go back and take on a little bit more client work, pay the bills, make some more profit, bring it in, put a little bit of money aside, and then put that into the next experiment, the next funnel test, the next Facebook ads test, the next one-click upsell test, the next launch, the next promotion, and then kind of we do the same thing like this. And so there's nothing wrong with that. In many ways, that's the path that I followed in my business. It's the path my mentors have followed, and feel good about it. So that would be my answer there. Cool. I think we got time for one more before we go to our break here in a second. So this is a two-parter from Tammy, and Tammy says, I've gotten a little bit confused with some terminology, trying to sort out. And by the way, Tammy, you're freaking rocking it. I just want to give you a shout out. Like the results you're getting on your segmentation funnel, I'm loving seeing it. Like you're rocking it. You're putting the pedal to the metal. That's exactly what you want to be doing. Everyone watching, Tammy, like this is how it's done. You get water flowing through the pipes. You get some traffic coming through, and you don't have the whole thing perfect. I know sales-wise, it's not quite converting where you want it to be, but this is the path. This is the path that we follow, right? We put leads through a system, traffic through a system. We do some tests. We try to test and tweak our way till we get to profitability. So Tammy, you're doing all the things the right way. You're asking the right questions. You're focusing on the right things. So just keep it up. Awesome job. Tammy's question is trying to sort out some terminology. So my question is your SLO your in, or is your in something different completely? So SLO stands for self-liquidating offer. Self-liquidating offer, what that means is you have something that you sell in your business, and that thing is designed to offset the cost of your advertising so that you can build your list of customers and build your list of leads for free. In other words, if you spend $50 on Facebook advertising every single day and you make $50 in return, you're not making money, you're not losing money, but the customers that you generate, you've generated them for free. Meaning now you can sell something else to that same customer, and that is where your profit is made. Now, in our in, up, max framework, your in typically is your low-priced product that is applicable to 100% of your market. Your up is something that's typically priced 10 times more expensive, and roughly 10% of your market will buy that thing. And then you've got a max, which is priced at 100 times your in, and typically 1% of your market will buy that. So for example, if your in is a $10 book, your up might be a $100 course, and your max might be a $1,000 consulting package where people work with you privately one-on-one. So $10, $100, and $1,000. Now, your SLO, your self-liquidating offer, the thing that you are using to acquire your customers for free, is most typically your in. Meaning the thing that you're using to build your list of leads, build your list of customers for free, is that in. That's the purpose of your in, is something that you use in a lead generating list building funnel. Right? So in our business, it's our one of our ins is our book Choose, right? So we sell Choose, and we try to have Choose be self-liquidating, meaning if someone spends $10 on, if we spend $10 on Facebook ads, we make one sale of the book, we've made $10, it offsets one another. Now, in reality, sometimes you can't get to self-liquidating with just one thing. Like in our case, when we sell the book, we lose money. We spend $50 on Facebook ads. With the book, we might only make $10 back. So we've lost $40. So what do? Well, we add some things to our in the form of one-click upsells. And that's what I demonstrated and shared at the accelerator. So who remembers what we sell? So we start with the book. For those of you superstar students who are paying extra close attention and who are at the accelerator, what's the next thing that we sell after someone buys the book in our self-liquidating list building funnel? What is the next thing that we sell? Does anyone remember? Post it in the comments. Yes, the Choose Fast Track course. So we sell a course that is the fast track version of this book for $49. So they buy the book for $10. The next thing they're invited to buy is a $49 course, but it doesn't stop there. What's the next thing that we have after that? Who remembers that? The next thing that we sell after the Choose Fast Track is Ask Fast Track. Yes, is Ask Fast Track. Morgan is on fire here. And then the last thing is our $1 trial to the Ask Academy, right? So that's a $49 a month membership. So we sell a $10 book, and if this is all we sold, we would lose money, right? We would lose money. So we spend $50 on Facebook ads, we sell our in, it is not quite self-liquidating, it's going negative. But when we add some other stuff to this, a $49 course, a $99 course, and a trial into our $49 a month or $49.95 a month membership, all of those things over time, plus other stuff that we sell, offset our advertising costs and now become self-liquidating. Meaning, in our case, we are building our list to the tune of anywhere from 1,500 to 3,000 new email subscribers every single day. And what are we paying for those leads? Nothing. The reason? Because we spend $5,000, we make $5,000. We're not making money, we're not losing money, but all those leads coming in are coming in for free, and then it sets us up to sell our next thing, which might be our Ask Method Masterclass, which might be this coaching program, which might be affiliate offers, which might be Bucket, and all the other things that we sell. So your self-liquidating offer, it feels sort of, I get it, it can feel deflating, right? Because it's like, I'm working so hard to build this dang funnel, and all I'm gonna get is break even on this funnel? Like, that's not fun. That's like a lot of work to not make any money. But what you're building is an asset. You're building an asset. You're building a list of customers. You're building a list of email subscribers, of leads. You're building an audience. And when you have that audience that you're growing every single day on the back of a self-liquidating offer, on the back of a list building funnel, it sets you up to sell additional products and services to that individual, and that's where all the profit's made. That's where all the money is made. That's why In Up Max is so important. That's why you gotta have all these things, right? You gotta have all these pieces in order for you to have a successful business. Now, it's most common to start with your list building funnel. You don't have to start there. Some of us here, you could start with your max, you could start with your up. But it's sort of like, getting dressed in the morning and going outside. You gotta put your socks on, you gotta put your shirt on, you gotta put your shoes on. And if you walk out with like not fully dressed, like you're kind of incomplete, right? So it doesn't matter if you start with your socks or start with your shirt, as long as you put all the pieces in place. So I hope that answers your question, and for everyone else provides just a little bit more context around self-liquidating offer, In Up Max, and the difference between your in, which is most commonly used in a self-liquidating offer, not always, most commonly, and the SLO concept. So I hope that makes sense. With that being said, CT, I think we're about at the halfway mark now, so I thought maybe it's a good time to just give me like an ever so brief second to take a sip of water. And I know we had one or two key announcements that we wanted to offer. Is there anything you wanted to say before I pop back in with those announcements?
No, I'm going to give you a minute though. So what I would like to say is, here's the thing that I love about the free-for-all AMA, is that whole piece, Ryan, is such a piece that I think is key And it's something that we take for granted a little bit because it's what we do in our businesses. And so for you to go over it in that level of detail and that level of resonance, I think is just so key. And I think it's going to make a difference. It's kind of like what happened in Accelerator with the bullet piece. I think that whole question and answer is just going to make such a difference as you itemized how that all works and what the engine is and what the fuel pump is to keep that moving through. So I just love how you laid all of that out in such a clear way for everybody. I know it's going to make a difference.
Cool. No, perfect. That's why I love these questions is just sometimes it's, it's great when we have a focused topic and it's like, okay, we all kind of know what we're coming in for. Other times it's a little bit fun. It's kind of like Netflix roulette where you're just kind of like, what are we going to watch tonight? Close your eyes, spin the wheel, and then you might watch something that you never would have picked on your own, but it ends up turning out to be one of the best things that's ever happened. So playing a little bit of that AMA roulette right now, but it's a lot of fun. All right, let's talk about some announcements, a couple things. So first thing is this. We promised at the Accelerator that starting in August, we would be kicking things off with monthly themes. So every single month, having a focused theme for all of us here in coaching, just around one thing as opposed to being pulled in all these different directions. And even better, telling you in advance what those themes are gonna be so you can plan your business and know that, gosh, if we're gonna be talking about something in 3 months from now, that's like on your radar, you can look forward to it. You can put it in your calendar. You can block off your calendar and say, you know what, I want to implement that thing. We talked about not only just having training, but having implementation around that specific topic and having a schedule of calls that you know in advance so you, again, can block your calendar and you can prepare. The other big piece of feedback that you've been giving us is that on these Q&A calls, especially, you'd love to keep announcements just to the minimum. These minutes are precious, and we hear you. At the same time, we want to make sure that you are aware of the important things happening, and so we share things in a way that you actually, know when those announcements are happening, know what to watch for, so on and so forth. So we are going to try a little experiment, and that is this. For this big announcement revolving around when are these AMA call elements happening, the training call, the implementation call, the Q&A call every single month, when is that happening? And what are the monthly themes for not the next 1 month, not the next 2 months, not the next 3 months, but the next 4 months? What are those themes gonna be? We've decided that CT is gonna share a dedicated video giving you all the details on that, and that video will be coming out this Friday. So keep your eyes peeled for that. There's a longer explanation of everything that's happening. All the details are gonna be there so we don't waste precious time on this call sharing what all those things are. So keep your eyes peeled for that. That is the first thing. The main thing, the one thing that I really wanna focus on this call right here, right now, today, is this. It has to do with Ask Live. And here's the deal. If you remember at the Coaching Accelerator, I mentioned to you that you have an opportunity to gift a $900 coupon to Ask Live, taking the ticket price down from $999 to $99 to anybody that you'd like. Any friend, any family, any colleague, any business partner, anybody that you'd like. But the catch is this coupon code expires on July 31st. That is, according to my calculations, 8 days away. You got 8 days to use this coupon. And so as you're pondering who in your life might be a good candidate to gift this to, and by the way, you can gift this to as many people as you'd like. And by the way, if you have someone that you're not sure if it's gonna be person A coming or person B coming, you can take advantage of this now and you can swap their names later. So if you're like, I don't know if I should bring my VA, if I should bring my business partner, if I should bring my son, my daughter, my spouse, my employee, like I don't know who, but I know I wanna bring somebody, you can always change the name later. We just need to know who's gonna be coming because we've got to block off spots for you before we give those spots available, make them available to somebody else. So I thought it'd be helpful to think about 5 specific types of people that you might want to use this for. The first type of person is a team member or an employee. And let me explain what I mean by that. So one of the challenges that many of us face is that the burden to implement the ask method in your business and to build your business using ask is that the burden falls only on your shoulders. You're the only person. And everything from tech to copy to Facebook ads to building funnels and everything else, it all falls on you. And that's a lot to fall on one person's shoulders. But when you have somebody else on your team, whether it's a contractor, someone that you found on Fiverr, a virtual assistant, maybe someone that helps out part-time, maybe an employee, maybe someone that you'd love to get involved in the business, there's no better way to give them the context and get them excited about implementing the ask method and all the pieces involved therein than to bring them with you to Ask Live. That is the path to freedom. That is the way you get from being chained to doing all these things yourself to being able to elevate, rise up, and do the things that you dreamt of doing when you started your business and getting out of that grunt work. This is that first step. So that's the first category, is who might be a candidate to bring along with you to help shoulder the implementation of Ask in your business. That's the first group. Second group is if you have a business partner. So I know for many of us here, we've got business partners. Maybe you're partners with your spouse. Maybe you've got a business partner outside. You work in your business with somebody. And for many of us here, it's sort of divide and conquer, right? Like you've decided you're taking this piece and your business partner's doing something else. They're handling some other aspect of it. And here's the thing. If you've ever faced resistance from that partner to get Ask implemented in your business, if you've ever faced resistance around, well, they're just not getting it. They're not kind of getting the context of how it all fits together. There's no better way to get them on the same page with you and get them just as fired up, just as excited to make this a core part of your business than to bring them along with you to Ask Live. That's what this event is designed for. It's designed for that very reason. So if you're in that situation, I highly encourage that you take advantage of it. This is the one time in the year that you can bring a business partner along basically for free. It's just $100 to $99 technically to get them in the room with you. Similarly, if you've got a spouse or a partner, if you're in a relationship with someone, and again, I know what it's like. We talked about it in Anna's situation. You have a spouse, a partner that just doesn't quite get it. They're not fully bought in. They're not in the room. They haven't seen the movie that you've seen. They haven't been on the ride that you've been on. They haven't done the reading. They haven't felt it in the way that you felt it. So it's unfair for you to ask them to get fully on board with you, but bring them into that room. We heard Chris Bruce's story, right? We heard Chris's story. He brought his wife in the room, and it was the moment where she looked at him and she said, "Baby, you go for it." And there's no better feeling in this world than to have your partner behind you 100%. Bring them along. Bring them along to meet this amazing community. All the friends that you've made here in this group, bring them along so they can meet. They can see like, oh, these are other regular people like us. I know for me, when I started bringing Tylene to events to get to meet some of the people in my world, all of a sudden it was like, these aren't a bunch of like scary weirdos hiding behind computer screens trying to scam people. Like these people have real businesses. They've got sons and daughters. They've got parents. They've got partners and spouses. You know, they play sports. They care about things like family. They go to church. I mean, these are regular people. It's just sort of creates this alignment that's unlike anything else. So spouse or partner, bring them along as well. Same thing with family. Listen, we're gonna be celebrating you on stage. Like this is gonna be your moment. You're gonna be on that stage. And listen, you don't wanna be the kid on stage whose parents didn't show up to their graduation ceremony, right? Like you don't wanna be that kid. You wanna be the kid whose parents are there who can say, oh my gosh, like you are doing amazing things. Like this is so cool. And to have them be part of that celebration with you. This is the day, this is the event where we celebrate your success. Bring your family along to be there with you. So that's the fourth situation. And the fifth and final situation is if you've got a friend, maybe you've got someone that you've talked about the Ask method with, or they know you're in this program. Like you've got a serious hookup. You are like the friend who has access to free concert tickets. Hey, I've got a concert ticket. I've got one extra ticket to take your pick, to U2, to Dave Matthews Band, to Elton John, whatever the like expensive, hard to get access to concert ticket, you've got that hookup. And now you can gift that to anybody that you'd like. It's a $900 coupon code. This is the best deal. It's going away in 8 days. You'll never see this deal again. I don't want you to have a friend, again, in a month from now or 2 months from now who says, hey, can you tell me about Ask? And then you say, oh, crap. I wish I would have hooked them up with this coupon before it disappeared. Remember, you can always change the name later. So if you've got someone in mind that you're like, I think it's this person, but maybe it's that person, I don't know, they can buy the ticket, so you can give them the code. Remember, the coupon code is FAMILY, F-A-M-I-L-Y, family. You can give them the coupon code. You can buy the ticket yourself and just gift it to them, or have them, PayPal or Venmo you $99 or whatever it is, but do that. So again, 5 situations. If you got a team member to help you out, if you've got a business partner to get on the same page, spouse to get on the same page, if you've got a family member, someone that you want to bring along to celebrate with you, and friend that you can hook up with your ticket. So 8 days to take advantage of it. Now, one last thing about Ask Live. This is a big one. So I know some of you have said, well, this is cool, but like, I don't know, is Ask Live for me? I was at Ask Live last year. Like, what's exactly happening? Like, should I come? Like, why should I be there? What is so special? Well, we've been working on something for a long time here at the Ask Method Company. And we're gonna hold this back a little bit, but we made a decision collectively that we wanna announce this today. And that is what is happening on our special day. As you know, for the first time ever, we are doing a special day just for us happening at Ask Live. And the big question that's been coming is like, what is happening on that day? What is like the big thing? Well, here's what we're doing. I've been wanting to do this for years, and finally we have the space and the venue to be able to make this happen. Every year in our company, we engage in an annual strategic planning day. This strategic planning day is the day where we set up our entire next year. It's where we set our vision. It's where we set our plan. It's where we set our quarterly initiatives. It's where we set our targets. It's where we outline our entire plan for the next year, so that for the next 12 months, all we're doing is simply executing on that plan. More than anything else, this process, this secret process that we go through has been the secret to our growth. It's been setting this plan every single year, and this is something that we've done for the better part of the last decade. And for the first time ever, we are gonna go through that process with you. We've got the entire day blocked off where we're gonna sit down in the room together, and we are going to plan your entire next year. We're gonna go through this same annual planning process, this same annual strategic planning day that we go through in our company. We're gonna go through this together for you and your company. And this is something that I've done going back to the days when it was just me and Tylene sitting at the kitchen table going through this process. And now here we are with a company of over 50 employees, and we still follow the same thing. This is something we've never taught before. This is something we've never done before, but we are gonna be doing this for you. And it only happens live in person in our special strategic planning day, the day before Ask Live. So you better get your butt in that room, because this is gonna be awesome. So one more time, the link, asklive2019.com, coupon code FAMILY. That gets you any number of free ticket, $900 coupon code tickets that you can gift to your friends, your family, business partners, whoever you want. Asklive2019.com, code FAMILY. That's for your friends and family. And for you, you want to go to, I believe the link is asklive2019.com. Tell me what the link is, team. I'm having a little bit of a brain. What is it?
/coaching.
/coaching. Thank you so much. Asklive2019.com /coaching. That's for your ticket. Remember, your ticket's free. We just need to know who is coming, because frankly, we're going to sell out. And frankly, VIP, just as a quick heads up, is very quickly selling out. So you got to get your ticket booked before there are no more tickets available and you can't be there. So just get it booked, get yours booked, get your friends and family booked. Do it before the 31st, because remember, that coupon code disappears into the night, never to be seen again. And that strategic planning day is one you absolutely want to be at. It's going to blow your mind. It's going to set you up for success in 2020 and beyond. You are going to freaking love it. So with that being said, let's get through our remaining questions. All right, this one comes from Chad. Chad says, so many questions. What's been the biggest lesson you've learned? What have you read that I should read? What have you done that I should do? What have you said no to that I should say no to? From good to great. What should you do to get on the stage in November? If you were me, what would you recommend? He says, you can message me privately. Well, I want to share with you publicly because number one, I want to set you up for success, man. I want you to be in the best position to be on that stage with me at Ask Live. And let's talk about where to go from here. So one of the resources that the team has been incredibly hard at work at putting together over the last year that I think is one of the most underutilized or underappreciated resources that you have access to is our lanyard checklist guide. And here's what this is. There's a resource that you have access to that walks you through exactly what next steps you should be focused on based on what lanyard color you're at right now and what's going to move you forward and move you on up to that next lanyard color. And then ignoring everything else. That's the key. The key is actually doing less. The key is focus. One of the things I learned early in my career is that my eyes are way bigger than my stomach. My appetite is way bigger than my stomach. There are a million things I want to do every single month, and I and our team have the capacity to do a tiny fraction of them. And when it was just me and Tylene, it was the same thing. I remember we had this big long whiteboard of all the things that we wanted to do, all the things I want, and I wanted to do it all right now, all this month. And the reality is I started making progress in a big way when I would pick one thing on that list, and only one thing, and work on that one thing until that one thing was completed. And that's hard for entrepreneurs like us, right? You're probably like me, you're high and quick start. You want to jump into the next thing, and as soon as you kind of get things going, you're ready to jump into the next thing, and you do so before you ever really see the fruits of your labor. It's like you plant a seed over here, and before you can actually nurture that seed long enough to see that seed grow into a big tree, you've moved on to the next seed. And before you know it, you've got too many seeds and too many things, and nothing is really growing because you can't give anything its individual attention. In Good to Great, you mentioned Good to Great, happens to be a book that I listen to or read every single year. I'm listening to it right now as we speak. Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, it's one of the best all-time books. I'm in the Hedgehog Principle chapter right now as we speak. You've got the hedgehog and the fox. So the fox is cunning. The fox is smart. The fox is slick. The fox is always trying different moves, always trying different things. But you have got the hedgehog who's got one move. The hedgehog just curls up in a ball. And that's it. It's its one move. It does that one thing over and over again, and that's where it's focused. And the one move is the only move you need. And you've got the one move. It's right here. It's the ask method. It's the one move. It's it. You don't need to be the fox. You don't need to be hunting and trying every little thing and trying this and trying that and sneaking around doing this. You just need to be the hedgehog. Like those good to great companies that go from good to great and have achieved a sustained level of success over a period of time, they got one thing, one move. One move. That's it. All you need is this one move. It's all right here. It's not some other shiny object. The thing is right here. You just got to put the work in. You just got to put one foot in front of the other. And when you do that, that's when the results come. The path is here. Is the path work? Of course it's work. Guys, if it wasn't work, everybody would have this. Everybody in the world would be making $1 million a year. Everybody would be able to work from home. Everybody would have all the free time in the world. It takes work. It takes making sacrifices. It takes being disciplined. It takes having the discipline to shut off the easy stuff. Turn off social media. Turn off all the time-wasting activities that we all find ourselves falling in traps. It means turning off all the ideas that you've got. Put them on a shelf. They're not going anywhere. Put them in a little closet. Close the closet door, the closet with all your ideas, all the someday maybe things, and then just work on the one thing in front of you. Work on that one seed that you've planted. Nurture that one seed. Water it. Fertilize it. Care for it. Give it sunlight. The one thing. Take care of it. So you can build that one seed and transform it into a mighty oak. That's the path. It's no more complicated than that, man. And to everyone else listening, that's the path. That's how you move forward. Keep your eye on the prize. Keep it top of mind. I wear this bracelet every single day to remind myself I'm in where I'm at and where I want to go. Remind yourself of the same thing. Keep the eye on the prize. Stay focused. Remember, print out that little checklist of what you need to work on every single day. Where are you on that checklist? If you haven't moved the next thing, that's what you want to be focused on. You get stuck, ask the coaches. On your one-on-one, ask the coaches. That's the thing you want to focus on, just that thing and only that thing, until you crack that nut. And then once you crack that nut, you crack the next nut. And that's it. It's not a sexy answer, but it's the truth. That's the path. It's not about jumping to something else and trying something new. That's the path. It's right there. That's Hedgehog. It's that one thing, one move, and you got it. Did you want to say something, CT?
I do.
I just heard typing in the background. I wasn't sure if that was you popping in.
That was not me, but I'm happy for you to give me the window to come in so that you can have a drink of water.
Or maybe some applesauce. How about this? How about this organic applesauce fruit pouch? I feel like a little 3-year-old, but it's the best feeling. These things are amazing, right? Like you're just seeing, it's like, I wish I feel like I want to be, like my entire life, I just want to this is what I want to eat. I just want to eat out of a pouch. This is the good life here. So CT, please continue.
How do you sustain yourself through the day? This is how it's done, ladies and gentlemen.
This is how it's done right here. Absolutely.
There's so much greatness going on in the chat, which is what you're seeing me as I'm looking off to the side, because there's just so many things going on here and so much great comments and so much great questions and everything. And so just reiterating, I mean, this is honestly an AMA call that you're going to want to listen to again. And if you know people in the community who aren't here, who couldn't be here, tell them about it. Tag them and tell them, because there's just so much goodness and greatness here. And not to mention, there's definitely excitement. Ryan, you've piqued everyone's interest for sure about what's happening at Ask Live. And I just love that strategy is something that we are focusing on, of course, because I talk about it all the time, every time someone talks to me. So I'm just thrilled. And other than that, let's keep going, because I know we still have some to rifle through and the clock's a ticking.
We're going to do it. We got it. I think we can get through them, at least everything that was submitted before the deadline. We're going to go kind of lightning round mode, which is great because some of the questions that I've seen come up, we've kind of addressed them in a few ways. So next question. That was a great question, Chad. Thank you. Next one's from Janine, building on what Chad asked. Janine says, the one thing standing in my way of 10xing my business is me. My question is, how do you make a habit of doing the most important needle movers for your business every single day instead of putting them off by procrastinating on other mindless tasks that other team members should be doing for you? And Tammy says, I totally relate. Must find a way to prioritize what will make us move on up. So here's the thing that I've learned. To reiterate what I shared with Chad, when you make that list of your priorities, I found, for me personally, the trap that I fall into is I try to do too much. We even make this mistake as a company. We come into a quarter and we have 3 to 5 key priorities, key rocks, big rocks that we want to accomplish in this quarter. And before we finish making that list, that list of 3 to 5 things explodes into 7 to 10 things. And you might be thinking, well, what's the harm in just adding a few extra things? But that is the thing that kills progress. And so what I've learned is the way to break it down is simple. It goes like this. So you've got your annual plan, you've got your quarterly rocks, and from there you break down your quarterly rocks on a monthly and weekly basis. And so if you could get one thing done this week, and only one thing, what is that one thing? That one thing. What is your one priority for the week? The one thing, if you only got one thing done. Here's the thing. If you only got one meaningful thing done in your business and you did it consistently every single week, you would get more done with 52 things than most people get done in a decade. The thing is giving yourself the space to think and to reflect on what that one thing is. And so what I've learned is that I walk into a week knowing what is my one thing. If I get only one thing done, what is that one thing? And then just make that your one thing. That's it. Don't try to put too many things on your plate. So as an experiment, I'd invite you, for everyone here on this call, I'd invite you to look at your to-do list on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. How many things do you have on that list? Right? Whatever your system is for, keeping a to-do list. Maybe you don't even have a to-do list. Maybe you just kind of, whatever's in front of you, that's the thing that you work on. What I would encourage you to do is take that down to just one thing. And I would even challenge us to do this right now. We've got, what's today? Tuesday? We got 3 more days in this week. What is your one thing this week? One thing, just one thing. Now, what I'm gonna invite you to do is to take a moment to reflect on it right now. What is that one thing? And then I'm gonna invite you to go to that Move On Up checklist that Sean posted in the thread. And I'm gonna ask you, is your one thing the one thing that's gonna move you up to that next level in your success path? If it's not, then maybe the thing you thought was your one thing isn't the one thing. If it is that one thing, ding, 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 that's your thing. Now just make that thing happen. That's it. You just gotta execute on that one thing with pig-headed, relentless discipline, just until that thing is done. That's it. That's all you do. You're just boom, boom, boom. You're like a Roomba that is just insistent on going this path and only this path. That's you. You're the Roomba, and that is your one thing. And you're just banging in to that wall until you've broken through. That's all you want to focus on. So do less. Focus on fewer things. As simple as that sounds, I found that to be the key. I found that we as entrepreneurs constantly try to do too much. And when you get clarity on what's that one thing, what is that one thing? And we've tried to make the job as easy as possible by giving you a checklist so you know what that one thing is, and you just keep executing on that, you can't help but succeed and move forward. You just can't help. And just know that things take longer than you want them to take. It's just the nature of the beast. It's just the way it is. We live in this world of instant gratification. We live in this world of, we don't even read articles anymore. We don't even watch videos anymore. We just read the headline to a video. That's it. That's all we read. And we think we watched the video that summarizes an article that summarizes a book. And we just read that one line and we think, oh, I've got it. That's kind of how we've been conditioned. That's the world that we live in. But that ain't the way it works. That works when you are a consumer, not when you're a producer. That's the key. When you are a consumer in this economy, that works. But when you are the producer, it doesn't work. Keep that in mind. All right, Michael, next. Ron, what's your opinion on Amazon, Facebook comment DDS, where you go to Amazon reviews and comments on Facebook and treat those like SMIQ responses? How does it compare to the lean or classic DDS? That's a great tool. So what Michael's talking about here is you can go to Amazon and type in your bullseye keyword, and you can mine the reviews for products in your space to see what opportunities exist. And I want to tell you about a couple things here. So number one, the most valuable reviews to look for are actually the 3-star reviews. And here's the reason why. The 5-star reviews are often glowing reviews by super fans. You don't get a ton of value from that. The 1-star reviews most often have some sort of, unusual circumstance, right? Like they ordered a book and the book was ripped in half when it arrived. Or they ordered a book and it had nothing to do with what they thought it was because they didn't read the back of the cover or whatever. Just crazy people, right? But the 3-star reviews are the people who are conscientious enough to tell you that there's something that they liked about it, there's something that they didn't like, and if there's one thing that was tweaked, or a small handful of things that were tweaked, it would have moved it from a 3-star review to a 5-star review. What that tells you is these are what are called the point of difference benefits that you want to aim for in creating your product and to be speaking about in your marketing relative to your competition. Now, this works when you're speaking to a solution-aware segment of your market because they know kind of what's out there. If people don't even know what problem they're running into, the Amazon reviews are a little less relevant. So they're a great tool to supplement what you do with your deep dive survey. They are not a replacement for that deep dive survey. Pam says, is prevention too hard to sell, or is there an opportunity for future pacing if the in and the mid, which I believe in this case the up, are set up correctly? I ask because I recently heard someone say, you can't sell prevention. If that's the case, then it's not a need to solve right now 10K problem, right? Does that mean too that the prevention is never something that can be sold? So can prevention ever be sold? It can when it is coupled with that $10,000 problem. I'll give you an example. Home protection services, right? So home protection services, like an alarm, like a home alarm, for example, is an example of something that you can sell as prevention after there is an event that takes place that keeps people, that triggers people's awareness to the urgency of solving the problem. The best way to sell home prevention is immediately after there is a robbery or theft or some sort of incident in a neighborhood and word gets out. If you find out that your neighbors 3 doors down just got robbed, and you are then offered the opportunity to buy an alarm system to prevent those same robbers from tackling your house, you're gonna say, sign me up. I don't wanna take any chances. Same thing in health. If you have a family member who is suddenly diagnosed with a preventable disease, like say type 2 diabetes as an example, and there's someone who's been very close to you, someone who eats the same way, has the same lifestyle as you, and you suddenly say, you know what? I better do something about it. So they are taking preemptive action toward that thing that's hit close to home from happening. Now, in the absence of that, selling prevention is very difficult. If you're not hitting close to home with someone, it is very difficult to sell prevention. You want to sell the cure. You want to solve the thing. Very few people are thinking about preventing a divorce before their spouse says, I want to get a divorce. That's the trigger event. That's the thing that sparks it. Or someone has a close to home situation, their sister, their brother, their close family member, their best friend finds out that they're going through a divorce, that their spouse has said, I want a divorce. That's the trigger event that says, you know what? I better do something about my relationship. So if in the absence of that close to home event that escalates something from that kind of simmering problem in the background to an urgent burning problem that needs to be solved now, in the absence of that, it is very difficult to sell prevention, and you want to focus on selling the cure to the problem that people are experiencing or know that they have. All right, this one is also, I'll try to see, this is a follow-up question. Okay, so William, so we'll do one. So let's do this. Everyone who's asked a question has had an opportunity to ask a question. A few repeats, a few of us here have asked more than one question. What I'd like to do is, I'd like to turn it over to our live for the next 9 minutes before we need to wrap. If you've got a question that has kind of bubbled up that you'd love to ask, post it in the comments, use the bracketed question in all caps so I know the questions, and I'll try to cover as many as we can lightning round style in the time that we have time we have remaining. She says, gold, I'm a Roomba. The one thing this week is my SLO. I know what it is. I just got to stop putting it off. I know, right? It's scary. Here's the thing. The thing you are procrastinating most to do, that's the thing you need to do. The thing that you've been procrastinating on, that thing that you're like, that is the thing that you need to do. That is the number one thing that you need to do, is the thing that you are procrastinating on right now. So keep that in mind. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions? Going once. I saw a couple questions earlier. I'll try to get to these that were posted a little bit earlier just because our time is so limited. What do we got here? I saw one posted above. Okay, so Michael's question. All right. Question, marketing keyword, copywriting, DDS, lean, issue. Every copywriter I reach out with personally sees me as almost a competitor, and they're stilted in their answers as if they answer at all. Since you yourself market to a how-to market product to other marketers, which I call meta marketing, how do you recommend getting around that competitive defensiveness? Should I switch strategies? Should I just drive gold traffic to my DDS and see if I shouldn't be targeting self-described copywriters at all? Even I've considered driving AdWords traffic to my DDS to see who's actually searching on the term copywriting. It's a good question, right? So if you can't get people to give you the challenges that they're facing, if they're so closed up around what challenges that they're actually experiencing, how are you actually going to get the necessary data and feedback to sell in that market? So I think there are a couple things that you can do, right? So part of it is in the framing, right? So if I were not a copywriter, but I was interested in this market, and if I were to say something like, hey, my name is Michael, and one of the things that I do is I help connect copywriters with business owners, I'm trying to get both. I'm trying to figure out where business owners are stuck. Now, I'm not a copywriter myself, so you can be open and honest with me. What is the biggest challenge when it comes to getting clients as a copywriter, right? I'll give you an example of someone who has this exact business model. Kevin Rogers, good friend of mine. Kevin Rogers has Copy Chief. He's an entire business around this. So that's a great example, checking in the box of, pioneers get shot, settlers get rich. This is an example of that particular business model. If you want to steer away from the getting clients piece of thing, and you want to talk about specifically writing copy, I help copywriters specifically increase the conversion rates of their copy. When it comes to sitting down and writing copy, what's your biggest challenge, right? And focusing on that piece of it. So I think there's a possibility in the way that you're framing to make people feel a little bit less threatened by it. Short of that, if you still run into challenges, it may be, a time to figure out what little piece within the copywriting space is one that you can really hang your hat on. And if you're still running into challenges or problems, then yeah, you may need to pivot. I would advise against doing Google Ads straight to a deep dive survey. I've said this before, it bears repeating though. The way the internet has evolved in the last decade is that 10 years ago, there was a time and a place where that strategy made sense and worked. It is not a strategy that I recommend here today. And the reason for that is because the internet has become a far less trusting place. People trust actually less, trust a stranger less than they did way back when because of the accessibility of information. People can Google you immediately and just look you up on Facebook, look you up on LinkedIn, look you up on Instagram, do a background search on you and immediately know everything about you. And if they're not finding out this wealth of information, they're gonna say, no thanks, not me. But when you take time to build rapport, you can overcome that trust. You can build rapport with someone in the, for example, in the context of a Facebook group or a forum or something like that. And that's where the lean strategy comes in. People don't need to know where you went to school and where you worked if they've interacted with you enough where they feel comfortable opening up to you. So sometimes it takes just a few extra steps to get to that place. All right, let's see. What else do we got? Anyone else? Anyone else? Any other questions? I want to honor my promise. Anyone who has not had a chance to ask a question, I know a few of you have taken the opportunity to ask more than one question. I do want to be fair here in the final minutes. We got some wins. Oh gosh, I love that. Near consistent profit of $45,000 a month on an evergreen webinar. Dude, you're freaking killing it. I love it, man. This is awesome. Patricia, perfect accountability partner. I love it. Geez, Donna, holy smokes, 21 SLO sales this month, 12 from your ad, 9 from organic. This is awesome. Kathy, loving her newly hired VA. Dang, I didn't even get a chance to see all these wins. Guys, you guys are killing it. This is awesome. It's like the middle of summer. This is where most people take the whole summer off and they get back to school year time and they're like, God, where did the summer go? And here you guys are. You're just like killing it. This is awesome. I love this. Cool. Well, listen. In the time that we have, we've got 4 minutes remaining. I know we want to do a couple things before we wrap, and that is this. Number one, I think we want to do call rating. Is that happening? CT, can I confirm or deny that we're doing that piece? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so.
Sorry, I had to unmuting. Yes, we are. And so we will
let's
that
do that
link.
now, and then we'll do one final question before we wrap.
You got it.
Sweet. Cool. Brianna just reminded me of the same thing. Gosh, she must have sent that message to me telepathically. Thank you, Bri. Cool. All right, so feedback form, it's in the thread. It's just a simple little thing. We just want to know, feedback, and here's the reason why. This is why it's so important, right? Tell us your feedback about this call right here, because we're going to be switching into this new call format, so we want a baseline to be able to compare. And we use that baseline to see, are we doing better than we were before? Are we doing worse than we did before? Where should we adjust? Your feedback guides what we do, right? Enough of you said we want fewer announcements on the middle of the calls. Okay, great. Well, there's still announcements that need to be made, so we're gonna put them in a different format. If we find out that no one's listening to that other format, well, they're gonna have to go back into this call just to get the important messages across to you. So if you could take a moment, click on that link, tell us what tell us what you thought. This call, you won't hurt my feelings. You can be honest. You can be blunt. I take it on the chin, and we use it to truthfully improve. That's one of our core values is making progress and continuous improvement. And I encourage you to consider adopting that as one of your core values as well. It's kind of a core tenet of the Ask method of asking, learning, improving every single time. So if you could take a moment to do that. Yes, and as Allison says, write done when you've done that. Give me 10 of us to do done. If you can be one of the lucky 10. Done. Can we get it done? D-U-N, done. It's like from Robin Hood, Men in Tights. Remember that? I want him dead. D-E-D, dead. I want it done. D-O-N-E. Done. Oh, Patricia's first. Who's going to be second? Coming in second place. Coming in second. Coming in first is Patricia. Pat is done. And Delene is done. She's going in for second. Who's coming in third? Who's coming in third? Come on. Who's coming in third? I want you to give good feedback too. So don't rush it. But we are going fast. We got 1 more minute. Come on. Can we get this done? Come on, guys. Come on. I'm counting on you. Come on. I've been talking nonstop. All you got to do is type in for 30 seconds. Come on, give me a little bit of a break. 2 of us, Pat done, Delene done. Who else we got? Come on, Donna done. Thanks. Come on, guys. We just need 7 more to get this done. All right, Morgan says done. Constructive feedback. I appreciate the constructive feedback. Thank you so much. I know, I'm giving you guys a hard time. On the one hand, I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. Right? On the one hand, I'm saying, give us good, useful, detailed feedback. And the other hand is just race through it, get it done. Okay, Beryl says done. Kathy says done. You guys are the best. Come on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 more. Come on, you guys can do it. We're so close, so close. Come on. Come on, don't let me hit doing, almost done. Williams is done, thank you so much. I know a few of us here, I saw a few other names here. Anna, I know you're on the call. Tammy, you already filled this out, thank you. Dion, I know you're here. Who else is here that I know for a fact is on this call? Maurice is here. Let's see, Sean is here. Who else do we got here? Michael's here, but he may be at work. Who else we got? A few more. Heather's here, yes, Heather's here. Come on, we just got a couple more. All right, we are basically there. All right, we're basically there. So, final question. Biggest takeaway. Now's your time. Biggest takeaway. Biggest takeaway from the call. So remember, just a quick recap on everything that we covered. We covered Facebook pixel segmentation. We covered how to address less than supportive family members and how to address it both internally and how to address it externally. We talked about how to get better at giving answers in a live environment like this one right here. We talked about what to do when your bullseye keyword in the Singapore math example isn't something that is aware to everyone in your audience and how to expand it, contract it. We talked about, in Beryl's question, going from one to one, one to many, and how to constantly seesaw back and forth and expectations that you want to have. We talked about the difference between an SLO and an IN and where that fits into the overall business, Tammy's question. We talked about Chad's question, which is how to move forward. How do you get on that stage at Ask Live? What should you focus on? Be focused on. We talked about Janine's question on how to stay focused on that number one thing, that number one priority. Michael's question about Amazon reviews. We talked about Pam's question, selling prevention versus selling cure. And we even covered Michael's question, which is what happens when you're selling to a group that is reluctant to give you open and honest answers to the deep dive survey. So that covers our free-for-all AMA call. Last one in this format before we get to our structured, themed training starting next month, the month of August. And remember, keep your eyes peeled. On Friday this week, you will get a video posted by CT, our director of coaching, who is going to reveal to you the schedule on a monthly basis of when these calls are actually going to take place. You can block them off in your calendar, and a preview of what's happening, not just in next month, not just in 2 months, not just in 3 months, but for the next 4 months. So with that being said, I want to wish you a great rest of your day. For all y'all who are participating in our Ask Method Masterclass launch, I want to give you a big thank you, big shout out. I'm so appreciative of introducing the Ask Method to your friends, to your colleagues, to people in your world and your audience. Thank you so much. I'll see you inside the Facebook group and have a great rest of your day. Take care.